Hello and welcome to End of the Road 2024-2025 edition. I will not be buying any upgrades, which means this is cheaper than free because I'm basically getting paid to earn the car. However, you should feel free to add Tier 1 upgrades if you want to, and I'll get to the cost here right away. $801,200 is what that will cost you, which isn't bad. And there's a link in the description area there where you could see all the individual upgrade costs, like if you do need gold. Check out the specs though. Look at these base specs. That's insane for any car. And then R$ specs and max upgraded specs. The braking really changes as you add upgrades. Not so much when you add R$ upgrades. We're going 2 times regular speed here because I'm dragging this out. I'm sliding around a lot, building up heat, and I'll get back to the specs here for a little bit. So fully upgraded, I've got it fully upgraded in my main account. I would recommend you don't do that without a sale. So just, do the bare minimum and to finish this event. But don't feel bad if you do need to add R$ upgrades. I wouldn't worry about that. I'm just not going to, because in this account, I don't have a lot of currency. So I'm doing this on the cheap. By the way, check this out. There's a jump spot right here. And there's actually 2 jump spots at this circuit. But kind of cool if you ever want to have an interesting jump spot, get some cool footage. There's me smashing Magnus. I was going to try to push him to the start-finish line. We ended up crashing. Now we're going 4 times regular speed because I let a bunch of guys pass me. Why am I doing all this? You do not want to be finishing high in these early stages, or it's going to be impossible later on. It's just completely impossible to do anything about it. So PR moves up very quickly in this event. You can only make things easier when you are at or above recommended PR. When you're below recommended PR, there's nothing you can really do. So you got to bear that in mind. We're going to go 8 times regular speed here as I let a whole bunch of people past me, and then we'll get to the race. So there's a requirement here. It's very easy to make the requirement here. No challenge to that. And then again, just don't finish high in the positions. Now, what I'm going to be doing pretty well from now on, I'm not going to finish any further back than 8th place for the most part. Like I used to say, I'll just finish last place. It's really unnecessary. 8th place is enough, maybe even a little bit higher, but I'll just kind of make 8th my target, a little bit higher here and there. I'm not going to worry about it, and let's just see what that does. I started thinking about this a lot more in my new account where I'm low on R$. Sometimes I'm having to go run a bunch of races just to earn R$. Now we're going to warp ahead, skip the last 2 laps here because there's absolutely no challenge and I don't want to bore you guys. You can see I'm smashing into the barrier. I don't know. I kind of get bored sometimes, so I do silly stuff. Tailgate for 2 minutes. Like, really? Okay. I don't think that's going to be difficult. So we'll do that. This circuit is a very dangerous circuit. Like there's these concrete barriers everywhere. Well, not all concrete, but this is an extremely dangerous circuit. If you know about like safety regulations. I've had some conversations with different people about different tracks and whether Formula 1 could race there or not. So Laguna Seca came up, and so I did some research. And for Formula 1, a track has to have a grade 1 safety rating. So that's the highest level. Laguna Seca has a grade 2 rating, so then Formula 1 cars cannot race there. And then there was another circuit I was looking at. I think it was Mount Panorama. Yes, Mount Panorama, Bathurst. That one has a grade 3 safety rating. And if you think about it, at the top of the mountain there, that's all concrete barriers. Like, you just can't have Formula 1 cars running up there at their speeds. Well, look at this track. Like, there's death traps everywhere. Okay, so here's the thing. This is not a racing circuit. This is a testing circuit. So it's called it's the Porsche test track. So it is funny that we run races here, but some people may not know this. This track was created with legendary sections from all sorts of other tracks so that Porsche could really test out their cars. Oh, you can see I'm having some fun with Magnus here. And so there's a bus stop section. There's some famous hairpin corners. There's all sorts of things here. Like this is almost simulating a corkscrew kind of a thing here. I don't think this is from Laguna Seca, but who knows? Maybe it is. I didn't research this. Someone else might know. This is in Leipzig, Germany. So yeah, interesting circuit. They're fun tracks, but they aren't meant for racing, which is what gets so interesting. Oh, I'm really dragging this out. You can't overtake anybody, so I got to be careful here of, what is that, the rock behind me? Well, that's funny. I got to be careful. If he overtakes me, I could run into trouble here. So don't get too crazy. I've almost got my tailgating done. Oh, I'm doing this again. Sorry, Magnus. Just destroying your car. Magnus and I have a long back history, so I tend to destroy Magnus kind of everywhere because we've got this back history where he gives me a lot of grief and I return the favor. So I didn't think this through very much. I could have finished even further back. Oh my goodness, these guys are slow. At this point, I'm already like, yeah, I don't want to be going this slow. So I decided I'll just finish in third place. Let's see what that's like. And we'll just see. Oh, looks like I was about to make rock crash into Magnus. So let's just see what we've got here. It's Magnus and me again. And I mean, all of this is easy, but the temptation is to win by huge amounts. You never want to do that. That's just going to cause you a lot of trouble later on. So as boring as it is, drag things out a little bit. Take your time with things. And then later on, you can really push it. You're driving in the grass, Magnus, so fine. You want to drive in the grass? I'll put you in the grass. No problem. Where'd Magnus go? Come on, man. Where'd you go? There he is. Let's just take some big hits out of this Agera. The Bugatti has, the Bolide has just amazing taillights, doesn't it? Just some of the best in the game. I think I've damaged Magnus's ego enough. I'll just let him catch up a little bit here. Woo! I've really destroyed my Bugatti. But that's okay. Let's finish this stage and get on with the rest of it. I'll flash up stage run rewards and then we'll get on to stage 2 and keep this baby rolling. So we are here at legendary Monza. And this is interesting that we've got a drift for 20 seconds. That's kind of interesting. I wanted to see if they'd actually just hit me. And yeah, they could kind of ram me, don't they? So they decided they wanted to hit me. So we've got an Enzo and we've got a Hennessy Venom. And I really overshot that corner, but that got some drifting in. And as we get around the big corners here, this car does really dig in. Like when you throw the car sideways like that, like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. When you throw it sideways, it does really dig in. So this, oh, Mr. Venom. You can definitely get a lot more out of the braking if you huck the car sideways. That's a technique you'll see me using, and I'll talk about it more as I'm using it. Like this isn't for braking purposes right now. This is for drifting purposes. But the car really digs in and wants to turn where you point it. So I forget if this is all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. I didn't bother looking that up. I might have known at some point in time, but I don't seem to know right now. So let's do some drifting through the Ascari chicane. Again, it digs in. So it's... Now here's another thing you can do. I'm using tilt B. Look at this. Lift, so you can... That's how you can get your drifting in very fast. It's just going back and forth. Lift and apply, lift and apply. I'm heading into Parabolica here way too fast, and that's a mistake. But there's all my drifting, so let's warp ahead, skip a lap. Here I've roughed up the Enzo. I decided, no, I don't want to finish in 9th place, so I smashed out his rear window. I've really destroyed this Enzo. I'm trying to get him up to a fast speed, but he doesn't seem to want to do that. Let's get on to the next race. Some craziness there. The description here is wrong. It says set the fastest lap. That is wrong. You have to win the race. So normally in a set the fastest lap stage, you set the fastest lap. Actually, I'll get to that in a sec. We're going to go 4 times regular speed here. I wanted to see some of the other cars. Like if the first and second place car are slow, but there's an Avaya back in 4th or 5th place, that could really affect things. Because I at this point, I didn't realize at this point, I thought I had to set the fastest lap. So sometimes I hang back and I like the first lap, I'll just see, wow, what's first place going to do? And I ended up getting pretty bored here. And so I went up, I'll get up to first place pretty quick. But it actually goes with your overall race time, not your lap time. So normally in a race like this, you could set the fastest lap and then just hang back and let everyone pass you. There's no reason to do that other than your overall time will be lower. But you can't finish any lower than first. The funny thing is, though, is that if you let everyone pass you, you'll see what I mean here. When we get to the end of the race, it'll use my overall time, not my lap time. So you do have to win this race. You don't really have to care about anyone else. You just have to have the best overall race time. Oh, that's weird. That's weird. If this was a rolling start and there was an Avaya back in like 6th place and there was like a 20-second start time between each of them, he could actually have the fastest overall race time but still finish in 6th place. That's pretty crazy. It wouldn't show it that way though. But anyway, it's kind of a silly stage, I find, for that reason. So here I was trying to get this Enzo to actually do something. I mean, it does have a decent top speed, and I wanted to see the Enzo go fast. I decided to hit 2 times regular speed because this is just going to end up getting too long. So this looks kind of crazy. This is more like how I'd be driving if he wasn't in the way. That's almost what this would look like, because I'd be hitting over 400 right there. And he's just slowing me down. I'm trying to make him speed up. I mean, with me pushing him the whole time, he definitely goes a lot faster. Oh, there goes the rear window. Bumper is toast. I mean, I get him nicely over 300 here, but still, I just decided, okay, well, that's enough of you. I'll dump you. But I will reel him back in at the end. I'm going to pull out of 2 times regular speed because something really funny happens here at the end of this race. It's quite funny. I've been smashing him the entire race, and I'm just looking to see where he is, and then check this out. He wrecks me at the very end. Now look at the overall time. That's not lap times. That's actual race time. So there you go. You have to win that race. Okay. So finish the whole thing in under 3 minutes and 5 seconds and overtake 8 cars. Okay. So I'm going to focus more on the overall time. Sometimes you can pass people and then let them pass you back and still pass the race. Oop. Went into that a little bit fast. I'm not going to mess with that until right at the end. If I got a bunch of time left over, then I could pull over and let people pass me. But you don't want to do this whole race, get near the end and find out, oh, you're missing 10 seconds of time. So just run the race, start learning the braking points and that. Like for me, I'm braking like, way back there. I'm already heavy on the brakes. I wasn't quite sure where I needed to be braking. I was over braking, obviously. And then you got to be careful of this. Corvette there is quite slow. Everything is quite slow. When it feels like everything's very slow. Like this car with no upgrades is better than most cars fully upgraded. Like there's very few cars that actually hit 500, let alone 500 as its listed top speed with base stats. Like that's crazy. Now you're not going to hit 500 in this car without upgrading it a bit because you just don't have enough track length to pull that off. But certainly you can get well over 500 when you fully upgrade it at the full-length Le Mans circuit for sure. The 24-hour circuit, not the Bugatti circuit. And, I've already passed 7 people. Well, I might end up passing more. We'll see here. We'll see if we get to actually see some fast cars. Whoa, losing it there. Hopefully that's not going to be a big deal. Gosh, I think I'm going to have like a minute, 15 to do my last lap. Let's see if that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, let's see if that's possible. I mean, obviously I have to pass this car, which that looks like it's a Venom. Yes. And so obviously he's very fast, but just look at this. That's a Venom. And I'm whoa, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, that was not my intention. Oh, whoa, overdriving the corners. Well, I wonder who's in first place. Wonder what he's driving. Not that I'm going to see him. 43 seconds, 42, 36. Okay, I should have an extra 3 or 4 seconds here if I'm driving really aggressive, which I'm not. I am damaged, though, so that's going to affect my speed. Still heading into the Ascari chicane too fast. Very interesting. And I'm not quite sure where I should be braking here. So I might be over braking, might be under braking. I was a little bit late. 10 seconds left at this point. That'll be fine. I can actually slow down a little bit. 10 seconds in a Formula 1 car would have me just making it. 10 seconds in other cars would have me nowhere near making it. Okay, there we go. And this should be the last race. Head-to-head race, 1 minute 20 seconds from a dead start, I bet. Ooh, against a Venom. That shouldn't be much of a deal. I mean, the Venom's a great car. We actually have better grip in the Bolide than the Venom does. So Zoe's probably going to overbrake for corner one, although I don't know what her PR is. Like, I don't know how upgraded she is. I kind of scraped her there. Probably shouldn't have done that. Oh, she didn't slow down all that much. Now, she might brake here. Let's see what she does. I don't think so. I don't think she was slowing down. But here I am slowing down very early, which was, I mean, as you can see, that was about the right point. I mean, I could have braked a little bit later. Not much. But then the bots, they take some of these corners very poorly. Ooh, 37. So I'm guessing I'm going to have about 2 seconds of extra time. My Bolide just jumped. It's kind of funny. You can jump the curbs quite a lot in this game. Okay, there we go. That was better at the Ascari chicane. Still not great. So I think I'm going to go with there's a distance marker on your left just after that. I'm going to go with that and see what that feels like. I think that might have been nice. That was decent. 11 seconds on the clock there. So I should have extra time. I can slow down a bit. Not a lot, though. I'm not going to go too crazy with this. You don't want to do all this just to have to do it again. Yeah. Okay, well, that wraps up this stage. There's the rewards for stage 2. Let's get on to stage 3. Things should start to get a little bit difficult here at Mount Panorama. So average speed race, but nothing about the position. Look at this Avaya. Like, he was passing me. I'm surprised he actually gave it back. Now, it's an average speed race, so you can't just stop. I don't want to win this race, and there's far too many cars there to try to sort out finishing in 5th or 6th place. So I decided I would take a long run in the wrong direction, because you've got to build up speed. You can't just sit there doing nothing. And you really need to. You lose average speed when you're turning around. So my brakes are at 100%. Degrading brakes here definitely is a problem. So you got to watch that. And you got to be careful here. You don't pin a wall too badly. Oh, that was nasty. That threw me off guard. I wasn't expecting to be at a stop there. Huh. No windshield damage. I'm surprised. So that's interesting. I would have assumed I would have had a smashed windshield, but I don't. Now, this means I probably won't see anybody for quite a while. I'm going to try to keep this on track for the most part, unless I can't. So what I'm trying to do now is show you guys how to do this without a bunch of antics, unless you have to. So turning around and driving the wrong direction isn't that much of an antic. That just makes sure I'm not winning this race, because I don't want to. I don't want to. This average speed requirement would have you finishing with a ginormous lead, or at least in 2nd place, but most likely with a humongous lead. And I don't want to do that. I was driving in way too deep, I could tell. Now, look at that. Brakes. So this is throwing me off a little bit because the brakes are acting quite differently as they degrade. They build up again quite quickly, though. Or I should say, it's almost like that's an inverse thing. Like 100% is almost like your brakes at the proper temperature. And then this you got to be careful of, on the brakes quite a lot. And then nicely through that. I haven't reached average speed yet. So going down here, I should reach average speed, I would think. We'll just see. Like, look at that speed climb. Already at 400, and it's still climbing at a very fast rate. And you're on the brakes way back here. Like, even there, I was braking pretty well before I could see this corner. So even now I'm on the brakes before I can see what I'm doing. Oh boy, my brakes are shot. So now I'm going to throw it sideways a little bit just to get some extra stopping power out of this car. That is a way to save your brakes a little bit. Oop, don't want to go off track. Okay, so Still not really building that average speed. We'll see. I mean, I might end up having to take some off-track cuts, which I definitely will be doing later on at Mount Panorama, so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm not really going to do wall grinding, I don't think. Like, I might unintentionally grind a wall, but sometimes wall grinding or wall riding is a technique you use to keep your speed up. Video game move. It was done in video games long before Ross Chastain did it at Martinsville in NASCAR. But nonetheless, it's something that we do in gaming sometimes. Oh, don't want to tag that wall though. Still haven't reached my average speed requirement, which is getting me a bit nervous. Brakes were regenerated nicely. Like, look at that, with that much speed. It's funny that they're not building at a faster rate. They're just building as a function of time. Oh, average speed, awesome. I hit it. And I'm braking quite a lot there. Okay, so I already hit it once, which means I'll be hitting it again. But will I be hitting it for this point? Ooh, that's iffy. That's iffy. So here's the thing. This is my second time doing the race. The first time doing it, I was not. I had a green average speed indicator all the way to the start-finish line. But then it failed me, which I thought was very strange because it showed me that I had met average speed. But this is better. I'm hitting average speed at multiple points now. I'm not worried. Oh, unintentional tag there. I can just do the same strategy, so no big off-track cuts needed. I will show you, though, off-track cuts later here. So if you're having trouble with this race, keep watching. I'll show you other Mount Panorama tricks coming up here where you could definitely help your average speed. Oh, this car handles nice. Yes, I was complaining a little bit about the brakes, but all in all, this car handles very nice, even with brakes that bad. 86, 7, 8, 9%. Wow. Hitting average speed way back here on the brakes now. Way back there. Built up speed more. It's so funny. The car is drastically slowing down and still building up speed. Oh, that 264 is building, which means I'll be fine here. Oh yeah, no trouble. There we go. That one's nice. Okay, it does start to get a little bit trickier. See if you can finish in 2:35. I mean, it's kind of like, you kind of have to. Now this is almost 2 full laps. And they gave us the car going so slow. That's strange. So again, I don't really know how much time I'm going to have left over. So just really go for it. And if you've got time left over when it's at the end, you can give some back. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, yes. This can really throw you, especially this car. I hit him once, had to restart the race. There's dead cars all over the place. Definitely would not be racing full speed on a circuit with dead cars. That's a recipe for death. So I'm in at 50 way back here. Gotta watch. I don't know where these guys are going to be. Okay, he's there, and there's one here. Now I just have to remember where everybody was as I do the next lap. Probably like 125 at the line. No, maybe not quite that much. 130. 129. Okay. All right. So it's 235. I don't know what that means. I don't know I haven't really learned anything yet. Okay. Well, I'm braking a little bit early here, I'm noticing. I'm trying to figure out my braking points yet. Because, yeah, I know this car, but I also know it fully upgraded. By the way, Mount Panorama. In this car, it's the first car I ever did an endless endurance race at Mount Panorama. I always believed it was impossible. I'll have that video at the end here, because often people ask, are there good earnings races for this car? Oh, yeah, there are. There's several. But yes, endless endurance in this car is possible here. Definitely have to do some crazy acrobatic tricks, though. Like, it gets crazy. And then I thought, well, if it's possible in this car, is it possible in others? And I found out, yes. In the McLaren MP4X, it was also possible, and I did it in that car. and multiple jumps per lap. Like in this car, if you cut this corner, you end up jumping this whole section of track. It's almost the whole section of track. It's pretty crazy, actually. Okay, I've got quite a lot of time left over, so I can slow down and give some back and not finish with such a massive lead. And just want to kind of finish as late as possible, but you don't want to push it so far that you fail and have to redo it. Ooh, boy. There's some fast cars out there. Okay, so this one, finishing in under 120, I could not do this without some tricks. Now, this is an outlap where, see, the timer hasn't started yet. So I'm going to be pulling over and letting a whole bunch of guys pass me. Now, we're going to go like really fast for that. So I'm going to pull over into pit lane here on the left. Because actually, if this was a no off-track stage, this wouldn't matter. We're going 4 times regular speed at this point, letting a whole bunch of guys pass me, and there we go. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to be catching up too quickly. I really hate when they don't give me a position indicator. Like, I have no idea what position I'm in. I wasn't counting. I don't know what position I started in. Kind of drives me crazy. Oh well, gotta get over it. So now I'm in a timed lap. No one behind me. I was just checking. I thought if there's an Avaya coming up behind me, I need to know that because that could affect how I drive. I don't want to get tangled up at different braking points, etc. Really not trying to tag that wall. It does throw off my handling and stuff. So don't like doing that. You can keep it full throttle here with the proper race line. That's full throttle. Here, oh, I was in the proper race line. And here, oh my gosh. Okay, definitely. I'm going to have to use some tricks for this particular lap. That was horrible. I'm surprised that this is even possible. I mean, I'm 30 seconds from the end of this lap, and I'm way up here. 30 seconds from when I have to end this lap, I should say. Not 30 seconds from the end of a lap. And most cars, you're nowhere near the end of the lap at that point. So I'm going to definitely take this off-track cut. Look at my speed. 480s. Oh my gosh. I almost hit 500 there. I mean, I got 7 seconds left here. This is way too close. Oh! Ah! That was way too close to 1:20. Okay. Well, good news is I'm over 3 kilometers back, so that's fine. I'm not going to catch them anytime soon. Obviously, I'll let them have a bigger lead than I needed. But that's okay. It's nice to know that there's no one in your way. You're not going to be encountering anybody. You can just drive. So let's try to not have a bunch of mistakes here and at the top of the mountain. That was better. So now I don't want mistakes. Oh, that would be a lapped car. Oh, interesting. Well, nuts. Hey, that's a Veneno. One of the most disappointing cars in the game. It's one of the most expensive cars to fully upgrade, and it still feels like garbage when you fully upgrade it. It just feels like a tank. It just doesn't feel like it wants to turn. It doesn't feel like it wants to stop. It's a complete waste of money to fully upgrade that car, I think. Especially when it's one of the most expensive cars to fully upgrade. More expensive than this car, more expensive than the McLaren MP4X, more expensive than the VW IDR, and nowhere near the performance. So, yeah, certainly not as much as the Porsche 919 Hybrid Evo, nothing is, but that car is insane. Okay, and we've got a FXXK. Well, I didn't gain too much on Bork, did I? That's how I'd say that name. I think the J would be silent. Could be wrong. Looks like I only gained like 300-400 meters on Bork. So, wonder if they're in an Avaya or something like that. I would maybe say a Venom, but I don't know. I mean, I could look back and see, but I'm not going to. Interesting. Okay, so there you got to brake here. Otherwise, obviously very heavy braking here, and I drove it in a little bit too deep. But we know I can get away with some mistakes, take the big cut, and be okay. Oh! Okay, well, that's a wall ride. I'm not going to go through all of the dynamics of a wall ride here. There's a lot to that. I mean, okay, basically, you've got to keep your front end off the wall, but not so far off the wall that you're totally sideways. That's the mechanics of a wall ride. If you want to learn more about wall riding, watch the video at the end of this one where I do the endless endurance race at Mount Panorama in this car. There is an Avaya. Huh. That's surprising. I didn't think I'd catch an Avaya. Okay. Draft for at least 1,500 meters. Okay. And finish in at least third. Okay, so I will finish in third. Not at least third, just third. That's what we're going to do. And we got to get in 1,500 meters of slipstreaming in here. So don't waste your time back here. I'll catch a little bit as I go by him. That was, I mean, you know it's not 1,500 meters, right? Like, maybe, I mean, if you're new to my channel, you don't know that. But a lot of you know what it is. Okay, Faye has been eliminated. Here's Wolf. And a Ford GT40. Getting some slipstreaming. I probably shouldn't have hung out with that Ford very much. Oh, especially since that. That's surprising. You don't see that very often. Okay, well, we got a ways to go yet. It's kind of a standard elimination, 20 seconds per car. I like it when we had one event where it was like 5 seconds per car, and there was a lot of cars. I liked that. That was kind of cool. And we've had some where it's like 30 seconds or 40 seconds a car. That I don't like as much. It was really interesting when it's like 5 seconds per car, but there's like 30 or 40 cars. That was interesting. Way up into the sand a little bit. There's another Veneno. The thing with the Veneno is it looks so cool. It's got unique lights in the back. It looks so cool. And then it's just like garbage of a car. So, well, at least I think it is. Okay, so this is the guy I've got to pass. So I'll get the rest of my slipstreaming in. And then get past him. Being careful. Oh, what am I doing? I'm being a little bit too careful. I went off track there. I didn't mean to. Okay, now I've accomplished that. I want to get as far away from second place as I can. So we're going to drive the wrong way. It'd be really funny if I met up with the first place car. I'm going to keep her pinned until the race ends. And pay close attention. This gets very interesting what happens when the computer takes over my car. Check this out. This is nuts. Whoa! That was high speed backwards. And that's the end of that stage. Here we are at stage 4. We are at Nürburgring, which is the iconic track. And what's this first race? Oh, we've got a speed target of like 329. Got to hit it quite a lot. I wanted to see if I could hit it here. And I did, but I drove it in way too deep. But I avoided the wall. So I threw it sideways and I was full throttle. And this car will just dig in and give you a lot of braking that way. Oh, Mr. Bugatti. That was a Devo. That wasn't very nice of you, Devo. I think that was a Devo. I decided I'll be back in the lead again. Definitely couldn't hit speed there. Can I hit speed here? Let's give that a test. How deep do I have to drive it to hit speed? I think that's going to be too deep. Yep. Okay, well, let's not waste time there. I mean, position doesn't matter, I don't think. So here I probably have to be careful because the guy's going to be in my way. Couldn't hit speed there. Hit speed there, though, without going off track. Never mind. Never mind. If they weren't in my way, I would have hit speed. Now I'll hit speed multiple times here. So hit speed, and then just slow down a little bit, hit speed again. Probably do it another time. There we go. I'm driving in way too deep. There is our first place car, which I'm pretty sure that's a Venom. We'll know that right away. I can easily hit speed now. That's not going to be a problem, right? Oh yeah, I can hit speed quite controlled. Throwing it sideways a little bit, just because I didn't need to do that, I don't think. But I did. 3 more speed targets. Oh, thought I could drift that corner, but drifting this car is interesting. Like I said, it really digs into the track. Very unique handling on this one. I like it. I like it a lot. So not trying to hit speed here. I don't need to hit speed in this section because I really can't. So coming out of this hairpin, I can hit speed. Little bit killing some speed there. Yeah, now there's no one in my way, so I can drive this full throttle and hit speed very early. There we go. And now I can be slowing down and control this car. Going into there we go. Very nice. Hit speed 2 more times down here, no problem, because we know 3 is possible. 329 way back here, and that's the requirement. Okay, well now we're going to go 4 times regular speed as I let a whole bunch of guys overtake me, and I'm good enough here. I'm good enough finishing in like 7th place. I think that's going to be fine. I'm not going to sweat this too much, and we'll just see what happens. I was chatting with a couple of people, and they did say, someone said they did test this, and if you don't do any bot slowing at all, apparently it does get pretty difficult. So, yeah, might as well just get that bot slowing in. Now, this one's interesting. Overtake 5 and lap 5. This is my second time doing it because my first time, I overtook 5, lapped 5, and then I gave a whole bunch of positions back. My counter didn't go down. So I thought I was good. No, it fails you. So you've got to do all that and finish the race. If you let them overtake you again, you will fail. So you have no choice but to win this race by a big amount. And we'll just see what that adds up to. Oh, we had to go on the other side of the barrier. Couldn't get myself slowed down enough. No matter, no worries. It's an interesting circuit. You got to be careful because they drive this strange. You can drive over where I was. You can do that in a time trial. A lot of people don't know that. So that really helps your speed because you drive out of the corners way faster. It's just like at Interlagos where there's a couple of corners where we can drive stupid wide. Here it makes sense. There it doesn't. Now, okay, I got to explain that. The reason why it makes sense here is because that section of road is part of another Nürburgring circuit. So that's why the game still thinks it's on track, is because it's a road that's allowed in other parts of the game. But at Interlagos, we only have one circuit. There's only one variant. And so, I think, could be wrong, but real life, I think there's only one variant. So it's very strange that there's certain sections that are not considered off track for us in this game. But, oh well. Your job as a racer is to figure that out. So in real life, when they can drive wide, they do. And because that's your job as a racer. Where are the limits? Push them as far as you possibly can. Sometimes break the limits. That's why there's penalties. Because they push things too far, and then you got to get reined in. So your job is to figure out the limits, whatever they are. Now, I get it. Oh boy. That was a mistake. Driving a little bit slopperier here. Ideally, this would represent real life tracks as far as the limits are concerned, but if it doesn't, you better find them or else you're just going to lose. So Interlagos has been interesting. Like turn 4 has been controversial because you can go way off track, but you got to go off track really early for it to, or else you actually do get a penalty. It's very strange how it works. Oh, tag. Didn't mean to tag you. Okay, well, where's the other car? Okay, I'm going to shoot the chicane. There's the Bugatti. Man, that's the 5th car I had a lap. So, I don't know. I guess you have to do a little bit of antics. And then I'll let him catch up a little bit, but I don't want to do this race again. There we go. Okay, moving on. This one's kind of interesting as it's an average speed race, but then you're running out of fuel. And again, this is my biggest beef in this game, is that the fuel is just utterly random. We had an event where we had 100 units of fuel, and we've had an event where there was like 5 units of fuel. And it has nothing to do with miles per gallon or 100 kilometers per liter or anything at all. It's just, anyway, it's just a silly system. It's a function of time. So, if you're on the throttle, the time is going down. It doesn't work by RPMs or anything that would make sense. And maybe that's just too much. I mean, this game doesn't have RPMs programmed. Like, it's not, yes, the engine's making sounds. Well, it's showing RPMs. Actually, they could do it, I think. Oh, well. It's not going to happen because it would mess up all the old events and whatever. Moving on. So at this point, I wasn't quite sure if my fuel would last. Wasn't quite sure how hard it was to keep average speed up. Like, it's draining pretty quick there. But now it's building again. We've got lots of lower speed corners coming up though, like this. Went in a little bit fast. Ooh, losing lots of average speed and got the big hairpin coming up. I have to slow down a lot for that, but then the rest of this is speed. Although, are you going to be perfectly in my way? Yeah, kinda. That's a slower McLaren. I think that's a 570 if I remember correctly. I decided, okay, that's not what you want to do after you've done a successful cut. For that cut, I lift off the gas. You don't want to be on the throttle when you're cutting because there's resistance because you're off track. And so that resistance will make you'll burn through fuel. Well, gotta go back to what I was saying. It's a function of time. So when you're off track, you're losing a lot of speed. And so you're basically covering less distance for the same amount of time. That's why I was doing the off-track cut though, because I had a huge amount of speed and I wanted to keep that going. So that's the advantage of a crazy car like this, that I can just go flying off track. Oh boy, I'm just looking at my speed. I might have to do off-track cuts. And I'm way back here. Is that the Bentley? Pretty sure that's a Bentley. It's kind of weird seeing a Bentley over here. Okay. Bentley on Nürburgring. Okay. I mean, I'm sure it happens a lot. I mean, the Nürburgring's one of the most famous tracks for people to go and drive. It's just open all the time. And it comes up all the time. So a full-length circuit will never be in Real Racing 3. It cannot work with this game engine. Yes, it is in other games. That's a different game engine. The track is just too long. Like the full-length Nürburgring, it's basically Le Mans 24-hour circuit plus Spa. It's a little bit longer than that. So it's just too much. The game just can't take it. In fact, it's interesting. Some lower-end devices can't even load the full-length Le Mans circuit. In fact, older phones, and not even like older, have trouble loading Spa. So yeah, there's limitations. That's the downside of making a mobile game. You have to make it thinking about all the various phones and platforms that are going to be using it. When you make a console game, you just do whatever you want. Now, I know there's other mobile games that have it, but again, they just don't work the same as Real Racing 3. So there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's all of the background information here that we've got. All that. If you look around, all the different graphics that are there. There's the fact that you can have a custom livery. So if you're loading a race with 20 people, there's 20 custom liveries that have to load. And each one of those has 50 vinyl layers, up to 50 vinyl layers, different rims, different ride heights, all that stuff that it has to load. All that stuff has an impact. Now, frankly, I don't actually miss not having that track. Yes, it's an iconic track. Can you imagine doing a time trial there? Like 5-minute lap. Oh my, everyone's here. And I really can't afford to wait. I have to go. Yep, we're just going to be finishing where I did. Wherever that is, I have no idea. Because they're not telling me what position I've got. What position was I in? Third. Oh well. Wouldn't you love it if you were 5 minutes into a lap, you're at the last or second last corner of the full-length Nürburgring, and you go off track, and it's an invalid lap, or you've got a massive penalty. And it's such a long lap that you'd have to service your car after just one lap. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay not having it. I mean, I really do hope we see some newer circuits again. That would be nice. We just got Interlagos though, so I'm not going to complain about this very much. I also know that it's incredibly difficult to make a circuit. There's a huge amount of work that goes into it. Way more than a car. I mean, think of all the little bumps along the way, all the stuff that has to get coded into the game that's there. They obviously have to go to the actual circuit and collect a pile of data. Okay, so we got a lot of slipstreaming to do here. Like, massive amount of slipstreaming. And this is where it is important to note that those aren't meters. You get 2.25 meters credited to you for every meter that you drive. The unit of measure is Roman cubits, which makes absolutely no sense at all. The head developer, when this was in Australia, has no idea how that happened. Not that they meant to use cubits, but that's actually what it perfectly lines up to, which is so funny that that's an ancient unit of measure. When I figured out that it was 1 meter equals 2.25, I backwards ran the math and just started searching what's based on that. Like, what is 44.444 centimeters or 17.48 inches? Like, what unit of measure is that? And that's what comes up as a Roman cubit. There's lots of cubits out there. It's specifically a Roman cubit. Anyway, there's a fun, useless fact. Okay, so I've gotten way more slipstreaming than you could possibly do at 1 lap at Nürburgring. So you can see, you see what I mean? That it's nowhere near accurate. So the funniest thing is when we had a race at a Daytona Motor Speedway, the Speedway, this wasn't a NASCAR race, you had to do more slipstreaming than there was distance available. So that's when it really was got proved that this is just messed up. But they can't fix it, because events like this, all these old events would be ruined then. They just have to leave it alone. Okay, come on, man. Trying to get my slipstreaming in here. I can't remember if it said no damage. Engine temperature, total non-issue. So the only thing is just getting all your slipstreaming in. I was a little confused by this event. It's funny to me how easy it is. Like, don't get me wrong, there are some hard parts, but it's way harder events than this. This is almost like a required PR event. So a required PR event is designed so that you have the upgrades they want you to have, and it should be easy. Most of the time it is. Once in a while it's not. Most of the time it is. And for the most part, this is easy. Granted, Mount Panorama, I did have to do some interesting things, off-track driving, that would definitely not be allowed in a normal race in order to finish that with no upgrades. No other way to do that. I'm gonna drive out this race in this position, might as well. I'm not gonna bother giving back anything more. I don't want to. Rock and I have been getting along just fine. I just don't want to fail, so I'm giving him lots of distance there. I might really close the gap here at the line. Ooh, got close to that barrier. That still terrifies me. I messed up once doing that. Okay, there we go, and that's the end of this stage. And that's the rewards. Welcome to stage 5, final race. We are back at Porsche Test Track, and I think all of it's the long circuit. I think so. This race is interesting. You do not have enough time to do 2 minutes of slipstreaming if you just leave Ahmed alone. So here's your options. Option 1 would be get as much done as you can. If you don't finish within 2 laps, pull over and wait for Ahmed to come around again, and then drive backwards and give a lap back. That's option 1. Option 2 is this. You just smash Ahmed to pieces. More and more cars are going to pass him, making him go slower and slower. And you just got to stay behind him. And tailgating counts. It's not slipstreaming, it's tailgating. So I've had this happen before. I did this at Nürburgring, where I actually got the bot stuck behind a wall. Ooh, I shoved him right into that wall. Oh, that's funny. Do I have to go rescue him, or is he going to get out? Where is he? Oh, there he is. No, he's way up there on me. Oh, nuts. I had a car pinned behind a wall, and I just sat there behind him and got all my tailgating in. And then the race ended, and that was it. It was easy. But yeah, the option is, so let's just say at the end of this lap, you could go back, drive backwards, and just wait for Ahmed to lap you. You could let him lap you multiple times if you wanted to. Now, I got 60 seconds in, but remember, I was messing him up. And oh my goodness! He just disappeared off to the right. Oh, and someone smashed into me really badly. This is getting nasty, guys. Then I totally lost my bearings, and Ahmed went way past me. So now I'm going to drive this in super deep, because I've got another 50 plus seconds to do. I'm going to smash him, destroy him. We're both going way far off track. Come on, Ahmed, catch up. Let's go. This all counts as slips of the tailgating because he's behind me. Oh, He's getting tangled up with that McLaren P1. Okay. I think... Oh, now he's out of my range, so I'm going to smash him again. But not going to go as bad here. Come on, where'd you go? Oh, nuts. Is he out of range? No, it's counting. Perfect. Still got quite a bit to get in here. Anyway, obviously it's not that difficult. Like, it's just... You just have to know strategy. So either you do this, you smash him up a lot, delay him a lot, or like I said, let him lap you, drive the wrong way for a bit, undo one of your laps, and then you can just easily get it all done that way. No time requirement, off track as much as you want, no position requirement. Basically do whatever you want to do. Now this is so silly, I got to this point, and he got ahead of me, and was like, I needed another whole second of slipstreaming and tailgating in. So that's why I wasn't taking any chances this time. Well, I need one more second. There we go. Now I can finish. And we are way far back because of all those shenanigans. 17th. Ouch. All right, now this one gets a little bit interesting because the speed target, it is a pretty high speed target. 365. That really limits where you can hit speed on this circuit. And I've got to overtake 8 guys yet too. So... And I don't really want to give those places back once I get them. So I'll be finishing probably in 4th place. No, 3rd place. Magnus I'll get here pretty quick. But... Oh, that wasn't great actually. I drove a little bit off track there. That doesn't really matter. There's no requirements here. It doesn't say that I have to be on track the whole time. So we'll just be a little bit careful. But not too careful. Now I decided I'm going to do things a little bit different. I'm going to have a nice run of here. I'll hit 360 whatever pretty quickly. Oh yeah, look at that. Trying to brake. Yeah, avoid the wall. Good. I think you can hit speed here too. Let's see if I can hit speed here without it getting nasty. Speed. Oh boy. Boom. Nasty. Is that necessary though? Let's just see here. I think you could also hit speed here. If you go full throttle, take this cut, then I think you could hit speed again here. I'm going to avoid that, but let's just see. I think I went off track a little bit anyway. Hitting speed here is very difficult though, without taking that cut. You do have to go way off track. So this is an interesting place to do it then. Oh, he's in my way. So let's just set this up differently. Let's try it from here. A little bit of slipstream off you. I should have caught some from the Jaguar. How deep do I have to drive it? Oh, all the way. Okay, on the brakes very early then. Because this car really, yeah. Now, can I hit it here with all that I just did? Should be able to. Come on, there we go. Throw it sideways. Do I avoid the walls? Whoa! That was interesting. Like I said, you throw this thing sideways, it has amazing braking that way. Wow, that surprises me that I avoided the wall. I mean, I did nick the one wall, though. Okay, I've already done all the overtaking I have to do. Oh, yeah, 4th place. No, what am I saying? 3rd place. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Yes and no, 12 minus 8 is 4. But I was thinking, oh, wait, I decided mixed up I mixed up something in my head. Leave it alone. Okay, one more speed target to go, and I got 2 more places I can easily hit it. Well, there's my 3rd place. I didn't have to have that one. See if I can avoid... Oh, I'm not going to avoid this wall. That was a little bit violent. Oh, well. There's Ahmed. I'll let the Venom overtake me. But I'm not going to mess around anymore. I mean, if there was someone really close, I would let them overtake me. But, whatever. Drifting that a little bit, just setting myself up. I know there's some other races here where I've got to drive very aggressively. And like I said, with this car, the problem we have is that the brakes are really not good with no upgrades. And even with $R upgrades, you might be needing to do some of these antics with $R upgrades simply because, because the brakes really aren't that much better, but your car is actually getting faster. So you're actually probably not experiencing any better braking ability with $R upgrades because you're faster. So it gets kind of interesting. I mean, no, the brakes did show stopping earlier. Never mind. No, it's better. Never mind. Okay, there we go. Not really much trouble there. Let's get to where it is trouble. I think this is a race. Nah, this one isn't too bad. Finished in second place within 2:20. Oh, that might be too bad. When's the timer start? Oh, good, it already started. Okay, so we've got 2 full laps to go. And yeah, this is going to get tight. Let's just see. Oh, and I blew that. I really blew that. I'm going to have 1 minute per lap, but a massive rolling start. Basically 1 minute per lap. A little bit more than that, but I've got a massive rolling start. From a dead stop, a 1 minute lap here is would be extremely difficult in this car. But from a rolling start, I don't think it should be that bad. Still, I'm going to drive it in a little bit deep and watch that so you can see that I throw it full throttle. And it's interesting how much braking you get out of that with this car. Like I've been saying, this car really digs into the track. It just digs in and grips the track. It wants to turn where you're putting it. It doesn't really want to drift because it wants to really grab the track. Mind you, drifting it's interesting. You don't actually want a super loose car when you're drifting because then you can't corner. Like some people think drifting is just throwing your car sideways. No, that's skidding. That's not drifting. Drifting is when you're actually controlling yourself through the corners. Okay, look at this time. Oh boy, 104, 103. Okay, that was like a 59-second lap. Interesting. That's uncomfortable. I mean, I'm on pace. If I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm fine. I'm uncomfortable because it leaves me no room to make a mistake. So I definitely going to have to be very careful. Oh, that one I did not do very good. I came to almost a dead stop there. Definitely don't want to be doing that. Okay, Mr. Magnus. I might end up having to overtake you. Which is not horrible. Like this right here. Okay, watch this. I should be able to get you here. Because again, bots drive this very poorly. It's one of the worst circuits for them. You can drive here. This isn't off track. So it's a very interesting circuit. Like this, none of that was off track. And I've got 9, 8. Oh, you can bet I'm not going to be giving any time back. But oh, I've got extra time. That wasn't bad. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. This is really hard. Now it does say no off track. Not true. You do get, I think it's about a full second off track. Maybe it's half a second. But you want to get past Ahmed as soon as possible. So watch this. It does say no damage. You can get away with a little bit of taps. A little bit like that. There. I nicely shoved him off track. So he will not be a problem for the rest of this race. Very interesting how we've got 63 seconds. That's very specific. I wonder how they came with that. That wasn't great. I actually wasn't off track at all though. But that wasn't great. That wasn't a great drift. So this is being a little bit more drifty. You don't actually have to. You could drive this properly and do it. But I'm getting it done how I can. None of that was off track. Last time I did this event, the video that a lot of you have already seen, I did end up going off track with Ahmed. This time I did not. So, boy, we're down low on time. But I was on the brakes earlier. Oh, nice, nice. This is the one track where those pylons are actually your off-track indicator. Oh, my. That was low on time. Huh. Okay. Now, this one, actually, I tried doing this once with no off-track cutting or anything like that. I couldn't do it. So you do need, there's no rules at all though. But you've got to pass everybody. Okay, that was stupid. I didn't mean to do that. That was not beneficial, obviously. You need to pass everybody and then pass them again. So it's interesting. You definitely don't want to get going off track. I mean, these are serious cars. Those are some serious cars taking a big... Now, you got to watch the walls here. Woo! That's some fun. You got to be careful doing some of this stuff. Oh, they're formation driving. I was not expecting that. Meaning left, right, left, right. He was way over. So that means if a car is on your left, the next one will be on your right, and then so on and so on. Repeat. Now, they'll be driving nicely because that was an outlap. Now, I'm on the brakes now. Heavy, 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 heavy. Ooh, and Avaya. Watch him drive away. Oh, maybe not. He's further back. Woo! I did that on purpose. I wanted him to hit the brakes. Oh my, I need to hit the brakes. I don't want to necessarily do a bounce. That was decent. That was okay. That was okay. That was an okay drift. Man, this is a serious lineup of cars. Oh, I don't want to hit you. P1. Another pretty serious car. Nice car. Okay, let's go blasting through here. Carefully, carefully. I don't want to hit those barriers. What do we have there? I don't know. I went by it too fast. I don't know. And I didn't bother checking at the end. I want to say that was a Venom. Another Avaya. He's higher up. Those Avayas are quite something to contend with. Yeah. Now, of course, this is an older event, and they don't refresh them. Like, it would be cool if they threw some Naveras in here. That's the fastest accelerating car in the game, but that might make certain stages impossible. So they're not going to take it all through testing again. So basically, old events are just left to be old events. Just leave them alone. They're fine the way they are. But those Naveras could certainly cause trouble in upcoming events. Okay, so I still haven't passed everyone the first time, and we're almost at the end of this lap. There's Ahmed. We know he's in a Valkyrie. Oh, that was bad. I encountered him in a bad spot. Okay, so now I've passed everyone once. Now I need to pass everyone again. 4 laps to do it, though. So as you can see, it shouldn't be too bad. 4 laps. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, but we don't want to do stuff like that. That just is a big fat waste of time. It's going to cause all sorts of trouble for me. Okay. So I'm doing this drifty-rifty thing. Oh, that's not great. But I've already got a huge game on Ahmed. I mean, he'll shrink that a little bit, but not enough to make a difference. Obviously, I'm going off track, all sorts of horrible stuff. So we have no idea how far away anyone else is. We just know how far away Ahmed is. Be careful there. Jaguar, Koenigsegg. They were pretty far back. Now, Ahmed will probably start reaching that lapped traffic. So we got to remember that. There was a Jaguar was first, then the Koenigsegg. I don't know, is either a 1-to-1 or an Agera. I don't think it was an older Koenigsegg. I mean, those are older cars, but not that old. Really gaining a lot here. Even with all this, I still honestly feel a little bit nervous. A little bit better. Yeah, I do like this circuit. Like, at least this is decent for racing. But again, I mean, this is not meant for actual racing. That's why it's not, the barriers are just wrong. Like, all of this is highly unsafe. And, okay, McLaren. Venom. Okay, I don't need to remember all that. Just curious to see if we end up, if I end up lapping anyone twice. That's what I want to watch for. Which meaning Ahmed starts to lap people. Don't know if you've noticed this, but bots are horrible when it comes to lapping cars. They just stay behind those cars forever. Ooh, I'm going in a little bit fast. Ooh, a little bit fast. Yep. Here's Ahmed, rounding the corner. I'm catching up reasonably fast. Oh, I'm driving in too deep. Don't want to smash myself. There we go. Woo-wee. Okay, there's 5 more to go. And what do we got? Still another lap and a lap and a half. Do we want to say a lap and a half? Why not? It doesn't feel like a lap and a half. It feels like a lap and, like, I don't know. Maybe between a half and a third. Anyway. Okay, let's see. You count. Now those guys are a little closer together, so I wonder if we're getting into some lapped guys. Woo! That Avaya felt slow. But they both counted. And there's Ahmed. Oh! I didn't find any lapped cars. Okay. So I've still got a ways to go, and the race ends. There we go, guys. That's how you do this with no upgrades at all. There you can see my upgrades. Zilch. Nada. There's the Stage 5 rewards. So please like and subscribe. Here's some other videos involving the Bolide, some great earnings races. Drop me a comment if you want to. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you out there on the track.